The next video, we're going to look specifically at the facility information data that we put inside a qlik. Again, we've come in, we clicked on Agostino's name, our apps have been displayed, and I see the facility information. Facility information are facility licenses for Alberta and Saskatchewan right now. That can either mean they're putting in a new facility or they're amending an existing facility. If I select that specific app, I'm now going to see the dashboards that we've set up. We've set up 3 different dashboards: account and territory and the license by month, description, and the contact name related to the facility, and some location detail. If I select my first dashboard, again, I can toggle to any one of the dashboards going up to the top right hand corner. But what we see here is we see whether we want to look at things that have been amended. So these are existing facilities that have been added on, or new facilities. So I could select new facilities, and that will segment the information associated with that. When I come to the account name, I can sort ascending, descending. So these are the companies putting in the majority of the new facilities. I could come over and I could pick my territory. I want to specifically look at the Northwest region. And this is the count of new facility licenses going in by month over the year. We upload this data weekly. So February will be coming up shortly. January will be finished off. I can narrow this down. So I'm going to say over the last 90 days, I now want to look at the new facility. So I see here the application is new, the territory is Northwest, and we're looking at the 90 days. And then here is the information, the accounts that we're looking at. I can look at my other dashboards, and again, still a fair amount of data here that we're looking at, but this is the facility description. And way it's broken out is we've got the regulatory name, compression station. And then we talk about the amount of G is the amount of gas, O is the amount of oil, so that could be bitumen or oil, C is condensate, W is water. And what we also look at here is, and then S is sulfur, so how much sulfur they have. And then behind that is the equipment that they're installing at the facility. So this is one, anytime we see COMP, it's a compressor, and PUMP is a pump, and SAND, SAND. So those are the kinds of facilities that we might be looking for. And here are the contact names associated to the license. And I could also come in here and I could look at specific areas. I might be field focused, so I could say, well, I'm interested in the Kakwa field. So when I select Kakwa, I know it's in the Grand Prairie region. Here are the LSDs of the facilities. I can come back here and I can see what type of facilities that we're putting in. But here's a large multi-well battery, 700 cubic feet of gas, no oil, some condensate and water. And that's pretty consistent. And then I can look down and I can see this one is a large facility that's put in some pumps. This one here, they've got a sand separator, and sand separator. So I can say those are the ones that I'm interested in. And then we select over here and we can see it's Conoco and 7 Energy. And Conoco putting the most in that area. So that would be an example. I could say, well, I'm interested in, I could expand the date, so on and so forth. Look at the customers. I could say, hey, I want Conoco and 7 Gen. I'm going to pick that. But I'm now going to remove the limitations of which of the records we selected. So I now have the new well licenses, Northwest Territories, the license date, last 90 days, the field is Kakwa, and I'm looking at Conoco and 7 generations. When I select the next dashboard, I can see here which ones that they put in on that side. If I wanted to narrow down, I could see Eric Tom is related to the Conoco ones. If I select his name, There are, so sand and separator, sand and separator. So that's mostly be putting in sand separation, not too much the way of compression. If I then go look at the other ones, I can see here that I've got flare. So here's the one with a pump associated with it. So we can come in, we can select the pump. We can then look at, it's the 7th generation. It is a brand new gas battery that's processing 900 cubic feet of gas, about the same of condensate, and 500 cubic feet of water. And the specific location is the Kakwa, and there's the field there. So I could then reach out and say, hey, what are you doing is this going to be manned? Do I need to go out there? So on and so forth. I'm just going to back out my selections again, and then I'm going to come back to the first dashboard that we built and summarize it so I can segment things by new licenses or license amendments. I could look at specifically an account, or I can come over here and I can first select my territory, and then once I select my territory, I can say I want to see what Shell Canada's doing. This is and we'll leave it as the entire year. I'll then come over, here's all the facilities and the people that they're doing, but I might want to break Shell Canada down into smaller areas. So I'll say, what are they doing in the Kaybob field? And then when I come back to Kaybob, I can then come down and say, here's one with a pump, a compressor. So these are all, and again, we can come back to the first selection. These are new licenses, most of them new licenses, some amendments. So I could say, hey, let's specifically look at the new licenses. And then we can come in and say, hey, these are in here we look at a large project. We've got a compressor station. We've got pump. And then I can nail down and I could say, hey, I should be coming in, talking to Shell Canada specifically about what their requirements are in the Kaybob field. So that's an example of how we can use qlik to model out the different scenarios based on territory and by account, on who's putting in equipment, where the equipment's located, and I can determine whether I should be going out and calling on that customer or not.